if you don't have one, I would like you to go over here and grab a nSpire calculator that has a yellow cap on it, okay?
I have a mouse here. It's kind of also kind of reminds me like.
Why your mouse?
It kind of reminds me of like the.
No, you can't, but I'll take you through a couple of things.
You actually have a mouse you can put
Yeah. So let's go ahead and we don't want to do that. Let's just push the calculator button for now. Boom. Okay. All right.
Can I click stuff?
So here's the, in general, I have some names for you. So if you've been in this ball game before with the TI nSpire, like Daniel's working on this, I am going to pause this for a second and I'm going to resume the class, which I think means that you have the option to log in. If I have the class started, then you can log in. And so your names, your usernames are, for example, I have Daniel, and I have Max is just Max, and it's all lowercase. Zoe, lowercase. If your name's really long, I didn't add the whole thing. And your password is 1234. Now I want to show you a few things before you try to log in, okay? I'll show you in just a sec. So we're going to actually log into a wireless network where all the calculators are connected to it through, yeah, go ahead.
That's the yellow thingy.
Through the yellow dongles. And but I want to talk about how things work for a second, okay? So take a look at your, take a look at the calculator for a second, and I want to just show you. If you have not used an nSpire is a little bit different than other calculators because it's really an interface where you can put documents into a calculator and work with a calculator. There's 3 buttons that are kind of very important, and let me highlight them, and I want you to find them on the calculator. This button right here is very important, okay? This button right here is very important. This button right here is very important. And this button right here is very important. Now let me talk about each of them. This button right here kind of has a calculator. It looks like a calculator. That will always take you to the calculator screen. Have you ever picked up one of these and you go, oh my gosh, I just pushed a button and I ended up in a place and I didn't know how to get back? This takes you to the calculator screen. And if you click on it, it'll toggle, yeah, go ahead and click on it. It'll toggle back and forth between the calculator screen and the graphing screen. Okay? That's all that button does. So you can do one of 2 things. So go ahead for a second. This is the graphing screen. And if I wanted to, I could graph an equation up there. So I could graph like 2 times x plus 3. And if I hit enter, it'll graph that line. So if I'm in the graphing screen, it'll do graphing. And then to toggle back to the calculator, I just push the calculator screen. And now I can do computations like 4 times 5. And if I hit enter, it'll give me that value.
How do I enter like the whole thing with the graph? How do I do that?
Well, we're not going to worry about the graph today. Let's worry about one thing. I just want you to be able to, here's my 2 goals for the day, is to be able to get you to log on to the network so that we can look at each other's calculators, and that we can move back and forth to the calculator screen. Okay? So, Carly, what's your question? You came up with a funny screen that's asking for your name and that.
You know it.
So, push on the calculator button again, and it should take you back to the calculator.
It's not.
Oh, hit cancel then. Is there a cancel button on it?
Oh, okay.
Could we see the username?
But you still need
Okay.
to log in.
Now,
I know, but she says it's not so long.
let me do a couple more things, okay? Let me show you a couple more things that are going to be useful.
What?
Now, is everybody okay with the calculator screen? What does this little button do? It takes me back and forth between a graphing calculator and a thing for operations. Is that all right? Now, the other button that takes me somewhere every time is this little home button. If I click on the home button, it will delete that. I'm going to clear my ink. I'm going to click on the home button, and it'll take me to this screen. Now this screen is
the arm?
Yeah.
the home and the on button with the little house.
Okay.
Now this screen will take me, I can access the graphing calculator or the calculator. I can start a new document. These are actually separate commands. This is the calculator and the graphing calculator. It does the same thing as this little button right here if I push A or B. And then I can do new documents. I can store documents in here. I can look at recent documents. The thing that we're kind of interested in right now is settings. Because settings is where you're going to be able to access the network and log in. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and push 5 instead of using the cursor because the cursor gets a little old for me. Okay, so I'm going to push the 5. And what I want to go down to is the login. And so I'm going to push 5 again. Okay, so if I push 5 and 5, it's going to take you to this spot.
5?
5
Maybe 5, okay.
and 5. It'll take you to this. And let me show you your class. Okay, I need to cancel. Okay,
Gabby.
so I'm going to go to the class. And I have the class, this class started. And so notice that Sharon is the pro. And so she's already logged in. That's her name. And she logged in with 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I look at this, you can put in your name. Your username is right here. So Zoe should be able to just type in Z-O-E. Zanel, I think I spelled your name correctly. Z-I-N-E-L.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to enter that as your username. And then you're going to put in the password 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, once you do that, so put in your username and your password. Does
Your username
anybody?
is just Hadas, right?
It's just Hadas. And 1, 2, 3, 4.
And log in?
Doesn't work for me.
And
I'm logged in.
Oh, then.
Daniel, did you get in this time?
I'm logged in.
No, I'm not error.
Go back.
Have you tried wiggling the dongle? The dongle?
The dongle.
I mean, that's the deal. I mean, sometimes this is. I'm not quite certain why you're.
It just doesn't let me log in.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It just gives me
If
You're logged in, yay.
Okay, there we go.
okay, I'm getting. Did you get logged in?
Trying to.
Max
Okay.
doesn't have a. No, he does. It's Max.
Max has a max.
You.
Oh wait, where? It's not there. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't have.
Makes sense.
Let me add you, Max, and see if I can. Okay.
You like
Max P. Max. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, try it again. Who else is in there? Daniel, you're my lone.
Companion.
No, it's not working.
Yeah. I'm not.
Grab another calculator.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead
Sure,
and grab
can
another
right now.
calculator for now and see if you can make that one work. That will really puzzle me if we can get another calculator to work, but yours
Max, you're
doesn't.
in.
Max, you're in. Now, the thing that's super cool about this, let me just show you, and you've probably already, if you've seen it before, cancel. Is I can actually send you content. I can send you activities to do, which is kind of fun. So like, I could push an application to you by sending it in this. And the other thing that I am able to do is to send quizzes to you if I wanted to. What is it that I really want to do? I want to I can take a screenshot of the entire class, and I can see what's on your screen. And the thing that's nice about that is that, so for example, what are you writing on your screen? Is that like something I shouldn't know?
It's not mine.
Who is this?
Hadas.
Hadas. What is this? What does this mean? Okay, so I guess but I can look at your screens and that's it.
I can
Okay.
keep it there.
Yeah.
I'm too smart for that.
Don't get trapped. Hey, so people, here's
Wait, what did I do?
Daniel. Did you get logged in?
Posted like half of the first sentence.
Okay, that's something wrong with the way I'm doing it, because you're working fine in Miss Isaki's class, right?
This one's network. It's connected to the network. But this one just gives me a network.
Okay, I'll have to fiddle with that because I want to be able to figure out how to get anybody who has their own device to access that. Okay, so go ahead and take a second, and what I'd like you to do is to go to your calculator, and I'm going to view the calculator screen, boom, documents, there we go. Now there's a couple of things that I want to point out on the calculator. So with me, if you would, go ahead and push the computer or the calculator icon. It should take me there. Okay? Now, let's say there's a couple of things that if I get into this that is a little bit different, okay? So the next buttons that I want to show you anytime, and if you've been using this in Algebra 2, you're going to know this already, but let's make sure we're all on the same spot.
Where are we going?
Here's what we're doing is, notice that right over here in this location, I have a thing that's called Trig. And if I click on that, it gives me all the Trig ratios. It gives me the Trig values and then the inverse functions.
What's
So I have
CSC?
these are some, they're called the reciprocal trig functions, and it's such as the cosecant, which is the reciprocal of the sine, the secant, which is the reciprocal of the cosine, and the cotangent, which is the reciprocal of the
Oh,
tangent.
sounds like fun and a huge mess, okay.
Now, because when you think about it, now you asked, and so I just told you, but I wasn't going to bring those up, but here's the deal. Is that, you know how the sine is the ratio of the opposite over the hypotenuse?
The hypotenuse over the opposite.
Yeah, it's just the reciprocal of it.
Right.
Now, here's the inverse functions, the sine and the cosine. Now, take a look at your calculator. I want to show you something really quick on there. What does your calculator say up in this location?
Dig.
Dig, dig, dig.
Big battery X.
Dig.
Degrees.
Does yours say rad? Do you know how to change it?
Rad plus
Okay.
rad is when you make the graphing thing.
So if I want to change to degrees, I go to menu. I go to home, and I go to settings, and I go to document settings. And if I go to document settings, I get to choose whether my angle is radians or degrees. And I also get to set whether it's a floating decimal and how many digits will be left in the decimal. So I could have a floating decimal where the calculator chooses. I could choose to float 2 decimals. I could have a fixed decimal length. So for example, if I always wanted 3 decimals, I could fix it to 3.
Oh, like the
Yeah.
different places.
Yeah.
So what can we choose when it comes to the angle?
So what you want to choose when it comes to the angle is you want to choose degrees. And then once you choose degrees, go down to the bottom and say make default. So that's how you change back and forth. And what you should notice if you push your calculator button again is it should say degrees up in the upper right area.
What?
Okay?
Wait, so how many do we put for the
Say again?
display digits?
I just leave mine floating at like 6 and then I choose.
Oh, no.
Is everybody there? You guys
still
still-
rad. Don't change.
Did you make default? Okay.
Oh, I think I forgot to save it basically.
Okay, so check making default.
Put the word egg in it. Okay, so
Delete this.
Okay, hey people, here's what I have. Okay, so I guess what I'm at is this. If I want to access the trig ratios, they're up in this location, and so I have to choose that location. There's another couple of things that are very important. If I want to access the blue alternate buttons that are above the standard buttons, I push the control button. So if I push the blue control, so for example, right now, if I take the sine of 30 degrees, it gives me 0.5, right? And if I take 7 divided by 6, it gives me 7 over 6. It just gives me the simplified version. If I would like the decimal of that, if I would like it to convert the decimal for me, I can push the Control and the Enter button, and it will convert it automatically to the decimal equivalent of that. Okay?
Wait, so 7 over 6 control?
Control Enter,
Okay.
and it'll give you the decimal equivalent. Anything else I should say about this process, Dan? Am I missing out anything?
I think you're good.
All good?
Wait, how do you do the, what do you click on?
If I put in 7 over 6 and I want a decimal, then instead of hitting Enter first, I go Control Enter,
Oh, so
and
you
it'll
go-
give me the approximate.
So 7 divided by 6, control.
Yeah.
Got it.
If I just want it to give me the reduced fraction, then I'm totally
Oh, no, what is
okay
it?
with that. Now, other questions about this? Anybody have any questions? Now, all of that, you people, good job. Thank you so much, Sharona.
Wait, what?
Thanks so much. And I'm still just in wow about how you guys did in the play the other day. Can I just keep on
Yeah,
talking
so-
about that?
So
Yeah, sit
I'm
down.
messing around with the calculator and
Sit down. What do you got?
So,
You solved my ticket.
question. I recall you mentioning that where we need a scientific calculator for algebra 2, where we need a graphing calculator.
You'll need in Algebra 2. You're expected to have a graphing calculator.
That costs $200.
It does.
I don't have that money.
Well, I don't think you pay for your school. I think your parents do. So I think it's something your parents need to provide.
I don't think my parents.
Okay.
Like,
So I'm just saying what the requirement is.
So don't
Okay.
take algebra 2, darling.
Okay.
Oh, sweet. Okay,
So,
well,
hey people, could you do me a favor now? I have put on your. What are you working on? I should be looking at yours. Okay.
What is this?
Okay.
You shouldn't.
Okay. Let me look at my class again. I'm gonna take a snapshot and okay. And here's Anna. So. Okay. Thanks. I don't know who that is. Okay. People, could you do me a favor? On Google Classroom, I have uploaded. I have uploaded 2 docs. There is a warm-up document, and then there's something that we're going to do as an exploration day. So if you look on Google Classroom, go ahead and open up your computer's Google Classroom and go to the warm-up document, and I would like you to do these. So let me show you what they are. Geometry B.
finish this.
And if you look at this, there's 2 things that I sent, and it's Unit 12, Lesson 4 warm-up. And so I would like you to go on and do the warm-up. And please do this. What I would like you to do is I'd like you to write your work down in your notebooks. I don't want you to just use the calculator and write it down. I'd like you to write it down in your notebooks.
Mr. Teeters, come here.
Yeah.
I must
Look at
have
American
writing
citizens,
something.
everything else.
Not gonna lie.
But Mr. Teeters, my message is pretty on spot. And you have to track you down through this.
Yeah, I bet you can.
Wrote the whole movie script.
Not gonna lie, I've just been writing something.
I'm gonna be
Oh.
more sophisticated now.
Hey.
I'm gonna write